All right. What's up, guys? How you doing? So I thought I'll do a podcast on food scene in Pondicherry, on what to eat in Pondicherry, 6 things that you can eat in Pondicherry, and why a podcast and why not the usual glitzy viral video, right? Where there are images after images of food and whatever. I mean, internet is full of them, right? Maybe I'll make one of those later. But for the time being, why not a podcast, right? We can view those everywhere. My feed, our feed or YouTube channel, Shorts feed is kind of full of monetary food videos. You can go and enjoy yourselves, bask in all the glory. But this is more about, I'm just going to talk about a broad overview of the food scene in Pondicherry and Auroville combined, right? Uh, and if you are going to spend some time there, if you are, if you are visiting there for a few days, there is not much to talk about. There's food everywhere, enjoy, right? But if you are spending, if you are spending a more time, a week, 2 week, months, 2 months, right? Then tune in, right? Listen on, right? And it's a very exciting spot, actually speaking, That's why I was able to survive there, and that's why I kind of keep looking forward to go back to uh, that coast, the Pondicherry Auroville belt, right? That's east coast of India, right? So we get into, let's start with, right? So I made a list, like 7 foods or 7 things that you should eat in Pondicherry. So this is not about particular establishments or particular restaurants. This is about broader categories on the types of food you can eat. And maybe I'll talk about a couple of restaurants there, here and there, throw in few names just to give you an idea. However, there are plenty of options for everything. And of course, there are good ones and bad ones and ugly ones, but I'm sure you can do a quick Google search and find out the good ones, right? But you should know what are the things that you should eat, right? Okay, so I start with number 7, right? What do we have at number 7? So this is South Indian non-vegetarian food, right? So I'm assuming, not assuming, but I don't know, assuming of course that most of the listeners of this podcast or viewers of this video right now, they're non-South Indian people who are traveling to Pondicherry or Auroville from other parts of the world, right? And I would say that it's a great opportunity for you to know South Indian food beyond the usual dosa, idli, uttapam, sambar, rasam, and coconut chutney, right? There's so much more to South Indian food. There's so much variety. There are so many regions. Every region has its own taste. Every region has its own style of doing things, right? So for a untrained palate, it might all seem to be the same. But for someone who is trying to understand food or who appreciates it or who wants to spend some time appreciating it, uh, Pondicherry, uh, in fact, this is true for other places in South India as well. But yeah, Pondicherry, if you are a tourist, you are not going to be a tourist in Chennai, right? But if you are a tourist in Pondicherry and traveling to South India from other parts of the world, Pondicherry is a great place to experience South Indian non-vegetarian food, right? It's chicken sukha, mutton sukha, Bengaluru, and Tamil chicken 65s and cuisine from Chettinad and, other parts of South India. I think they have some Madurai food as well, right? So for a North Indian to understand the distinctions that there is, okay, a middle Tamil Nadu, right? The old Tamil Nadu cuisine is different and coastal Tamil Nadu cuisine is different. So all those things, you can start to get a glimpse of in Pondicherry. So multiple restaurants come to my mind. Some of them are chains. Some of them are local establishments like your dhaba next door type of a eatery. So not taking any names here, but yeah, do your own research. And if you love non-vegetarian food, then it's a great place. South Indian flavors, non-vegetarian food, which you will not even find in North India or other parts of India or other parts of the world, right? All right. At number 6. Now, after at number 6, after pampering your non-vegetarian friends, let's come to vegetarians and everyone. That's humans in general, right? Because everyone eats vegetarian food. Here, I'm putting a special category for uh, conscious food is the word I would use. Ashram food or food with certain mission. right? Certain consciousness, certain message, right? So if you are in Pondicherry ashram, you will see ashram dominates. Maybe chances are you are going there for ashram, right? That's the number one thing to do there. So ashram, I'm sure, runs kitchens as well. I've never been to one of the ashram meals, but I've been to ashram restaurants. I've been to cottage restaurant. I have been to other places where you can buy processed things like candies, maybe like biscuits, cookies, maybe aam papad, maybe some sweets, and things like that, processed food, khakra, and I mean it's really good, right? Besides that, if you are talking about this kind of category, then I will also put few of the Auroville establishments in the area. uh, Naturalment, if you're looking for a meal which is vegan, vegetarian, and ticks all the conscious buttons, right? So neem tree हो गया. Neem tree is vegan, vegetarian. It's थोड़ा देख के जाना है ना. Neem tree ढूंढना पड़ेगा. One of the hidden gems, I would say. So and Solitude Farms, sustenance, Solitude, Neem Tree, vegetarian may. Plus, there is a plethora of options. Sagar Ratna and, all those types, right? Shri Ratna, Sagar Ratna, Shri Ratnam, and the Speed, Patsunath, or whatever the name is, right? So, vegetarian, classic South Indian vegetarian food. So, it's all available in Pondicherry. So, you can gorge on that, right? So, let's move on to the next category, which is seafood, right? And number 5, I would put seafood there, right? Why seafood? I mean, of course, you are in the coastal area, and you have some very interesting food options. Of course, seafood is part of men vegetarian, but you can get a lot of fish, a lot of prawn biryani, prawn fried rice. It's all worth the money and not very expensive. If you are up on the beach, if you are around the coast, then there are some grilled fish joints. Uh, and if you, I mean, fish is available at local dhabas, fish curry, fish, fried fish, you can go with for every meal, right? And I mean, it's definitely something, seafood is something you should look forward to when you are in Pondicherry, just to put it on the thing, right? And at number 4, I'm going to put these products, bakery and chocolates, confectionery like that. And the place is like loitered with some of the amazing big products. Remember, French used to rule this place, and then still a lot of French people and a lot of Europeans are living around Auroville, right? In Auroville itself, there is Auroville Bakery, and that's one of my favorites. And but then, generally speaking, breads and more, again, on the Auroville unit, they have their fantastic baked products. And I think some Marks also does some baking. If you are in main Pondicherry town, all ashram would do some baking, and I think products from all these bakeries that I've been mentioning, they would be available in Pondicherry as well, right? Why Pondicherry itself, though I've not explored much, because for the baking scene, because I was busy with these Auroville units all the time. But Pondicherry itself would have good baking scene, I'm sure, you want to try. In fact, I remember in Le Cafe and, in a couple of other places, especially the small little coffee shops, which would bring me to point 3, the baked goods were not bad at all. It were very interesting and different. And now coming to the number 3, which is like highlight of Pondicherry, and that area is coffee. Oh my God, the amount of coffee that is there. It's every corner, right? Everyone is not trying to be a coffee shop, but they are. That's the coffee shop country. From the small little corner shops where you do the filter coffee, the Kimi coffee shop and other coffee shops are there. And then uh, Mark's Coffee is there. And then, this place, I bought coffee from Nasaru, so I'm not able to pronounce, right? So they are one of the top coffee makers in South India. And of course, you have your usual chains and whatever. But them coffee is something that you buy, you binge, you enjoy, different variants. Everyone does good coffee in Pondicherry, Auroville, right? And if it's not a good coffee, I mean, I don't know, right? You look it up, look it up. I'm sure there are bad ones as well, but coffee is a highlight of the area. Do not miss on him. And that brings me to number 2 now. At number 2 in Pondicherry, Auroville area, we have ice creams. And it's a coastal area and summer throughout the year for a non-Indian, right? It's summer for me, even in winters. And I mean, it's ice cream time all the time. And some of the places in the belt, I mean, they do fantastic flavors, fantastic variety of ice cream. Gelato Factory, Cafe Fort 73, Royal Element, Ibaco. I mean, there's so many names which are rich, I think, and there's so many names in the area, and everyone would have their favorite, so everyone has their own cult fan following. But as a food lover, as someone who appreciates good stuff, I mean, I go anywhere and it's good ice cream, even though the choice becomes toughy. In fact, even places like La Terrace and uh, and even this thing Neem Tree would have their own sorbets and their own La Terrace and Neem Tree would have their own sorbets and their own ice creams and their own flavors as well, which I'm not sure, but if they're buying from somewhere or sourcing from somewhere, but yeah, they have some which they offer as well. Maybe they're unique as well, right? And that brings me to the number thing in Auroville and Pondicherry. It's so in your face, you can't avoid it. It's like, okay, every third shop is a pizza shop, right? But it's so good. There's so many these areas there. I mean, you can't miss it, right? I mean, and the variety is mind-boggling. Lakshmi Pizza. I mean, Lakshmi Pizza, who used to be worker of some Tanto's pizzeria, now has his own pizza. And then there are two brothers pizzeria. And then there's this guy who runs this small thing. And then there's a guy who runs this big thing. And then there's a pizza oven on the fucking terrace somewhere. I mean, oh, and then there's a youth center which does a pizza night, right? Which like 200, 300 rupees, all you can eat pizza experience. So pizza is like paratha for this, like on every corner. It's like you go have a pizza, but then it's really good. Uh, you should I eat as much of it as much as you want to actually, and try as much variety as you want. The cheese quality is really good in the area. The bake quality is really good in the area. The sourcing of toppings and all that little consciousness about it and whatever, right? So that's one of the things that you should be looking forward to trying, and add that to your list, and maybe do some research, and go to a favorite joint and do whatever you want to do, right? So that brings me to the end of this list. And no particular restaurants right now, no razzmatazz, no glitzy stuff. Just trying to have a little, watch time on YouTube, honestly speaking. Yeah, by getting into a podcast in a lazy way without getting into all the editing hassle. Even though this is going to take some time, but yeah, you get the point. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Let's see about the next one, hopefully today or later or whenever. To the. Oh.